Bullhorn Betty rocks.
Well, good morning, my coffee beans. Come on in.
Fives on the table. We clocking early. Hunt what's unstable. Bullhorn Betty on the curb, voice raised. Flip flop queen with the homemade phrase. Notebook thick, got the screenshots flag. Names in red ink, every rumor, every tag. Late night live stream, screen glow on her face. Truth in her throat, got a lawman's pace. She don't blink when the threats roll through. Come see me, she says, if you think that's cute. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. Insane Asylum, that's our crew nickname. Laugh so loud while we track these names. Whiteboard wild with the webs we spin. Pen to pen, see the pattern sink in. Turbo shaking when the case goes cold. We stir it back up, won't do what we're told. Doorstep question, side eye stare. Where were you that night? We hanging right there. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. This for the faces on the milk cart labels. This for the families praying at tables. This for the names that the news won't say. We say them out loud every single day. Every day. If you're running in the dark, better feel that fear. Betty got a bullhorn right in your ear. Coffee club crazy, but we think so clear. One small town, whole world gonna hear. Hey! Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that the day gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we take questions.
Nice to see you this beautiful hump day, April 8th. It's kind of cool outside. It's kind of light outside. It is not raining this morning, which is lovely. And we're still covering the case of Miss Nancy Guthrie. And today is taking a little bit of a turn. A little bit of a turn. We're going to be kind of talking about Mr. Camron. We haven't talked about him. We haven't talked about him. Close to the family, son. He's been cleared, right? He's been cleared. But there's something that just doesn't sit right with me. Hasn't sat right with me since I learned of the information through the Today Show and the interview with Savannah Guthrie. Her brother's immediate run to the assumption that his mother was kidnapped for ransom. And then telling his sister that, yeah, she might be the reason this is going on. Seems pretty harsh, pretty cruel. But, in the grand scheme of things, family is family. You're when you go to your family, you expect them to be honest with you, not sugarcoat stuff. He's in the military. I don't know how many military people, I've got military family. Not very many of them sugarcoat crap, right? So this is a situation where he probably didn't really sugarcoat anything. But we need to kind of dig in here because, again, it's an element in this case that doesn't sit right. How did he know? Is it truly his experience? Did he see something? Did he hear something? Something led Camron to jump to that conclusion when law enforcement was looking at his mom as just simply wandering off and walking away. So why such the polar opposites? Was he on the scene when he made this determination? What did he see, touch, or feel to inspire this in his brain? Was it just because his mom was gone? Because if that's the case, to me that doesn't make sense. If it's because his sister walked him around the house and he saw something like the doors open, the blood on the front, the fact that something just didn't sit right. It looks like their mother was taken against her will because she's not there. There's blood and there's things that are open and propped open that shouldn't be. They know their mom, right? You know your behavior of your mom. I'm telling you, my mom doesn't do too many things differently today that she did whenever I was living with her growing up. Okay, she's the same. Again, zebras don't change their stripes. So my mom acts the same way. I kind of know her routines, how she behaves, what she does. I personally know my mom locks her entire house up before she goes to bed, right? So I know that if something is left open when I come there, a back door, sliding door, something like that, I know there's something wrong. I know there's something wrong immediately because my mom does not go to bed at night with her house unlocked or open. She just doesn't. There's only some very, very minor chances of that happening, and that has to do with whether they have power out or not. If they don't have power out, they may open some windows, but she even has devices on windows that somebody can't just pop the screens out and just raise the windows and come on in. So what did Camron see? If you guys are just joining me, I'm Bullhorn Betty. We're covering the case of Nancy Guthrie. Nancy Guthrie is an 84-year-old grandmother that was ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night by a masked gunman. And then we learn a little more about her timeline. She took an Uber over to her daughter and son-in-law's house for dinner at around 5:32. This was recorded and law enforcement does have her trip. She is on camera with the Uber driver. That has been turned over to law enforcement. We also learned that Tommaso took her home after dinner. She went over there, had dinner, they played games, and then around, I don't know, 9:30 or something, they embark on taking Miss Nancy Guthrie, Tommaso's mother-in-law, home. And we see at 9:48 the garage go open, and then we see the garage closing. We learned that during this time, Tommaso Cioni took his mother-in-law home and walked her inside the home. For everything else, everything seems normal until the next day. The next day, the family gets calls from people from the church. We're finding out that Miss Nancy Guthrie watches The Good Shepherd, and they watch The Good Shepherd in a group at one of their friends' houses. And so she never arrived, and so those friends called her family, most likely Annie or Tommaso, and said, your mom never showed up. And so they go over there, they find blood, and then we learn that cameras went offline at 1:47. There's a motion detected at 2:12, and her pacemaker disconnects from her app at 2:28. We also learn the next day on February 2nd, into February, I think it's late February 2nd, we learn that we do have a crime scene. There is a crime scene at this house. And so by February 5th and 7th, we realize all that blood on the outside of the front of the house is Miss Nancy Guthrie's. So that's kind of the timeline we knew. And then, of course, in the Today Show, Savannah Guthrie, on the eves of her coming back to work, they thought it was best to do this interview and kind of clean the air and speak about the elephant in the room, because she's given no interviews. Again, these are things that we look at with parents, and it's hard to apply standards to everybody when this one kind of defies standards. Like, we expect families to be out there searching. This is a famous family. The chances of them getting out into the wilderness to search with all these people is very dangerous for them, okay? So I understand why this family may not be able to get those search areas and stuff like that. But they also kind of have not been very communicating well with the public. I mean, she's given some cryptic messages to the possible ransom folks. And she's talked to her fans, very briefly, asking for help. But it really wasn't until she was getting ready to transition to go back to work that we kind of got a lot of more insight on what happened in those moments leading up to them calling law enforcement and getting law enforcement out there. But to me, it seems like Camron kind of knew what he was looking at. And I don't want to say that that's suspicious just yet, because I'd like to know a few things. I'd like to know, was Camron already here in Arizona when he made that statement? Did he see the house? How did he determine their mom was taken against her will for ransom, of all things? Because again, very low on the totem pole in America to have somebody kidnapped for ransom. The reason why is because Americans don't pay ransom. Okay? We just don't pay ransom. If my mom was taken, the one reason why we choose not to pay the ransom is because we are by far one of the richest nations in the world, okay? If every Tom, Dick, and Harry knew that they could get a payday by coming and kidnapping a rich American, we would all be kidnapped. Every time we went overseas, we would be kidnapped. Every time we went anywhere around this world outside of the United States, we would be targeted and kidnapped for profit, okay? Because, again, richest nation in the world. We don't pay ransom because it keeps us safe, okay? There are a few people that may be targeted for ransom and they may lose their life. We do not pay ransom. If you're trying to get a quick payday by an American citizen over ransom, you will be disappointed 100% of the time, okay? We do not pay ransom. So I'm going to say good morning to everybody, and then we're going to get kind of started into our topic of conversation. If we have some time at the end of the show, I'll see about opening up the phone lines. I've been trying to open up the phone lines for the last couple days, and I end up getting too wordy, and next thing you know, our time has been sucked up. But we do have some information that's spilling over from last night's conversation that I wanted to clarify and rectify here this morning. If you guys are here, thank you. There's 381 people in our chat right now. If you guys could go out and give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the Bullhorn Betty channel, please consider subscribing to the Bullhorn Betty channel. And I'm not sure if the hypes disappeared or not, but I noticed that there are a few hypes that they're not on everything. So if you are on the replay crew and you do see the option to hype this show, please consider hyping me. Please consider hyping me. I truly do appreciate everything that you guys do. And it's free. It's free to subscribe. It's free to hit that hype. And it's free to show your love by hitting that thumbs up button. But if you'd like to do more, certainly we have ways to do that by memberships, Cash Apps, Venmos. We got the Super Chat, Super Stickers. And of course, if you are on the replay crew, we also have super thanks. So I appreciate all the support that you guys give me. God bless each and every one of you. We want to remind you, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Thank you for that information. Please remember, tip line, the FBI is actively seeking public assistance in investigation of the Nancy Guthrie case. Someone knows something. We absolutely believe somebody does know something. We also want to remind you again, 800, thank you so much. Pima County Sheriff has offered $100,000 reward plus $250, and I believe the $2,500, not $250, but $2,500 is from Crime Stoppers. So we have a total from Pima County Sheriff in the amount of $102,000. We know that the family, as well as another individual person, has upgraded that and provided $100,000, and then the family reward of $1 million, bringing the total award for information leading to Miss Guthrie and the arrest of the individuals is at a whopping $2,250,500. So please remember that we do have a huge reward on this case and for this case. That's why it's very hard for us to believe anything coming out of TMZ related to the ransom and people wanting a Bitcoin. With that being said, Dan, it's nice to see you. I've got an email from you that I thought was interesting and wanted to read here. Is it possible the suspects went to California? Fox News is reporting that body parts were found while searching for Easter eggs. I looked at the distance from Pima County to Long Beach County, and it's 7 hours and 32 minutes. I'm going to keep checking just to be safe. That's the first time I heard about that. Dan, thank you so much for the information. And anybody else that is on the lookout for that information, please know that we do have, parts showing up on Easter. That has to be pretty stinking scary. But thank you for your participation. We appreciate you. Melanie, good morning. Deb, it's nice to see you. Jacqueline, good morning. We do have a lot of people in here, so I'm going to try to speed this along a little bit. We want to thank all of the people that have provided, super chats and super thanks. Thank you. We appreciate everything you do for the missing. We love you, Betty, because I'm a love machine. Ow! Ow, ow, ow! We walk in here like, what? Hey! Melanie, thank you. Guys, please let's not forget Lisa B. Always is having surgery today. We want to keep her in our thoughts and prayers. She is one of our coffee club members. She's a person that we love and we get to chat with. This morning, we're not going to be chatting with her. She's got surgery. So again, we all know that going under the knife, no matter how minor, if you're going under, you're going under, and anything can happen. So we just want to keep and uplift Miss Lisa in our thoughts and prayers today as she undergoes surgery. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And then it's Miss Melanie reminding us, happy Wednesday, buddy. Delilah Mods in chat. I hope everyone is having a good day. Much love to you, BHB, and prayers for Lisa B. always today. And of course, Mr. and Mrs. E. I know you only had so many characters to use, so I know you always pray for Mr. and Mrs. E. So if my mods are in the chat and they want to throw some things up there for Mr. and Mrs. E, Mr. and Mrs. E, Crimecast has been a part of our family since they've come out on to the YouTube platform, and we just adore the family. They've been such a great inspiration in the Sebastian Rogers case. They helped us learn a lot more about autism and the nuances of autism. They've just been so gracious with their time, and they are facing the unthinkable. Their child has been fighting brain cancer, very aggressive brain cancer, for some time, and it's back, and it's more aggressive than ever. So we're asking for lots of prayers. We know God moves mountains, so we're asking for prayers, but they never ask for help. So all of us have kind of forced help down their throat. And so we've got, prayer chains, we've got meals, we got buy them a coffee, we got everything we can do to help them, even though they refuse to ask for any help. It's got to be very hard on them. The expense that's going to be coming has to be quite great. Never mind the medical expenses they've had up to this point that has been, to fight to save their child's life. So if anything that you guys can do to help, please consider helping. This is one of ours, and I can't imagine the walk that they're going through. It's got to be pretty rough. It's got to be pretty rough. So, Arizona Raven, it's nice to see you. YouTuber Donna, good morning. Good morning, OG Jitter. Hello. Landy, it's nice to see you. Honey Babe, I'm not going to be able to get through all of these people because, again, we have 450 people in here. So, I'm going to go through the super chats and super stickers first, and then we'll get to who we can get to. We've got that, and then we've got Let Them 66. Thank you for all you do. Love you. Love to BHB. Prayers to all that needs them. Thank you. Prayers for the E family and the Guthrie family. Amen to that. Amen to that. And then let's go back to the live chat, and I'll grab a few people here at the bottom, and then we will get on with our show. So our beautiful Sonia, the real me too. Don't forget, the people in blue are the mods. They keep our chat happy. Once upon a time, our chat wasn't as happy as it is today. So it is the great work of the moderators that keep it nice and clean in here and keep it respectful. It could be a real shit show in the chat, and we just don't like it. And we feel that we're covering true crime cases, and there needs to be some dignity and respect in the chats as well. So we thank our mods for that. Texas, it's nice to see you. Texas woman, Arizona Raven, 1-800-CALL FBI, YouTuber Annette, good morning. Good morning. Our beautiful fake news hater, it's nice to see you. I'm going to be trying my lip balm here soon. Sandy, it's nice to see you. I hope everybody is doing well. Whispering Winds, DJ, allegedly, in my opinion, true crime. It's nice to see you. Unicorn, Indiana. Sandy, Little Orange Man. Briggs is up in the chat. It's nice to see you. Chase, good morning. Jewel, I Spy. Deborah, good morning. Holly, it's nice to see you. Jez Labs, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Laura, it's nice to see you. Deanna, Nanny Goat, it's nice to see you. Jean, hello, Miss Faye. Who else do we have? Let Them 66. Holly, I think I said hi to you. Cat Lady Grandma, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Alexander, it's nice to see you. Veronica, good morning. Just my girls. Hello. Thank you for everybody. I know I missed a lot of people. If I missed you, I do apologize, but welcome to this show. Before we get, dive in too much to this, I did want to go over a few things that I did find out yesterday. We went over this because I got a chance to look at the county meetings there in Pima County, Arizona. Many of us did. If you guys were watching, a number of creators that were there to discuss the Chris Nanos and what the Board of Supervisors is going to do. And their meetings are ran very, very differently than we run our meetings here because we are pro-citizen in Florida. So we want our voice heard on everything. And that's the way many of our boards are conducted. We have sunshine laws. You can't have conversations in the dark. Everything has to be in the light. Our commissioners can't talk about any type of business without being in that dais in front of all of us. If they do, it's a violation. It is a violation of law. Our county commissioners cannot create ordinance and attach criminal penalties to it. They have no authority here in Manatee County or in the state of Florida to do something like that. We have no authority to penalize people by ordinance, okay? Especially criminal penalties. I'm finding out that in Arizona, your legislature no. You guys got a lot of work to do in Arizona. You guys are being screwed, okay? You are not in charge in Arizona. We are in charge in the state of Florida. So, yes, I got that as well. I think it's the next one we've got here. The council did talk about nanos. We're going to be talking about that. I got the question. I think it is it possible the suspect went to California? I do have that. We will be talking about that as well. But so I went through, because I thought they weren't following Robert's Rules of Order. And so I realized that Robert's Rules of Order, maybe they were following. I didn't like how they were running their meeting. period. So, and I didn't like the fact that they could create an ordinance and create a criminal penalty to an ordinance. I don't know who in Arizona legislature gave some idiots, council members and supervisors the authority to put criminal penalties on stuff. Absolutely not. You folks in Arizona, y'all need to be fighting for your rights. Period. You guys have stuck your, and I'm sorry for coming down. I'm not a sugarcoater, so please forgive me. Okay? Please forgive me. I don't walk on eggshells. I kind of tell it like it is. And it's because I've been around this stuff for a long time. I'm a political activist, okay? I know politics. I know strategy. I know what's right and what's wrong in politics. You never give somebody on a local level the authority to arrest you. What the hell is wrong with you? You guys are removing cameras that are protecting you, removing lights that are protecting you. And you're leaving 5 people to rule over you and put criminal penalties that can arrest you and throw you in jail? Have you lost your damn mind? Have you lost your damn mind? Whatever's going on in Arizona, reverse it. Reverse it. Reverse it. I don't care what you guys do. You are going to be screwed. You guys are getting screwed. And it's because of these stupid policies you know nothing about. I would never allow a county to rule over me so much that they can put me in jail. The hell is wrong with you folks in Arizona? That is your livelihood. Your livelihood. So, do you guys have rights? These are my recommendations. And this is for the entire state of Arizona, not Pima County. First of all, you guys need to restrict your rogue government, your rogue local governments, giving them the ability to arrest you. I do not know what the hell is wrong with you. I would never, ever, ever allow county officials to dictate over rule of law, criminal code over me. Never in a million years. So that's step one. When you have, there is laws that mandate the public's right to attend and listen to all deliberations in the state of Arizona, but they do not have to listen to you. They get to create the rules of when you get to go up and speak. I don't know if you know what tyranny is. Maybe you need to look up the definition in Arizona, because you guys feel like you are living free. I can assure you, you are not. You are absolutely not. They are robbing you blind with your taxes and giving you shit for services, and then telling you to sit down and shut up. You have no control over the people after you elect them. There is no way I would conduct business with people that can rule over me with no input whatsoever. So you've got a lot of work you need to do in Arizona. You need to start changing your laws. First of all, you need to strip the ability of local governments to arrest you. That is scary to me. That is so stinking scary to me, that you guys have given the authority over to your local governments to arrest you. I would never. I'm just letting you know. I would be out in those roads I would be at the state capitol. And trust me, I go to the state capitol. That part of that intro, the very intro, that building out the front. Let me put my intro back up. Not this one.
Bullhorn Betty rocks.
That right there is my state capitol. That's in Tallahassee. Right there. Okay? Do you see that? That right there is Tallahassee. That is my house. That building behind, this big building behind here, behind that shorter building, the real tall building that goes up to the sky and out of my frame, that right there is where my senators and House members are. You know? I don't play. I don't play. I don't play with my government. My government will never be able to rule over me here in the state of Florida. And if they do, there will be hell to pay. Like, I hold people accountable. I have no problem going to somebody's house and protesting. It's one of the things that unnerves my politicians here. Because you can be my best friend 1 minute and have a horrible ruling, and I will be in front of your house whether you're my best friend or not. I hold everybody equally accountable. I'm an equal opportunity asshole. I truly am. And I think everybody in Arizona needs to be too. I'm sorry. They just need to be. I was dumbfounded to hear the rules that you guys have. So your board doesn't really want to hear from you. They act like they want to hear from you, but they don't. So as of 2023, the board limited the call to the public for a total of 1 hour. So if you have a major problem in your community, we hold our, let me tell you something. We've had our meetings go until 2 o'clock in the morning here in Manatee County. We will never allow them to limit our public comments. They work for us. We've had meetings that drove into 2 a.m. in Manatee County. 2 a.m. They are getting paid a shit ton of money. And they're dictating to you how often they're going to work. You guys got some problems in Arizona, and I'm not leaving this just to Pima County. I want everybody in Arizona to understand what rules, because I'm looking into this stuff. Because again, I'm a political activist, and I'm trying to find strategy to help some people out there get out of the mess that they're in. And for me to understand what needs to happen here, we have a pretty good government here in Florida. It's not the best. That's for sure. I'm pissed off at frickin', Will Robinson and what is my, what's the Senate president now? He's our politician here. And he lied slap to my face. You don't lie to me. You don't lie to me. So I've reached out to both of them, and I'm planning on I'm moving closer to Tallahassee. By 2028, I'm going to be in Tallahassee. But our politicians are probably going to be, out because of our rules of, limited. I can't remember what it is. My brain's kind of short-circuiting too much stuff. But anyways, Florida's okay. But right now, we have our own problem because we have a super majority, and they're shoveling crap down our throat for pro developers and killing our roadways and keeping it and making us live like California because of our. So yeah, I'm one of these people that look at everything. I am not married to the Republican Party. I will help install a Democrat to balance the rule of law here in the state of Florida. I will work. I don't care. At the end of the day, it's what's best for the people, not what's best for the party. And that's where my allegiance lies. If you know anything about me, I'm about the people. The only reason why I'm a Republican is that's the one that identifies the most with my ideology and morals. Okay, that's the only reason. But trust me, I have no problem taking a bus and running over any damn person. Again, equal opportunity asshole. So don't forget that. So I just wanted to clarify this stuff because it really did piss me off when I started reading how this all was set up. This is all set up not to be, this is all to be set up anti-citizen. The way you guys got Arizona set up is that you hire your politicians and they make rules for you whether you like it or not. Once you hire them, you're screwed. Okay? That's the makeup you guys got in Arizona. And once you get them, the only way you can get rid of them is through recall or, voting them out of office. By that time, it's too late, right? Because I just watched them enact laws that could arrest you right from that dais. There is no way in hell I would give my community leaders the ability to arrest me. That's a big fat no, because I'm a big boil on the ass of my politicians here. If they had the ability to arrest me, I have a funny feeling I would never see the light of day again. I am just saying. You do not give a small government that ability. That needs to be removed in Arizona. Just my personal opinion. Okay. Enough with me. Sarah Birchmore. I think, Sandra Birchmore. She was a young teenager that got involved with an older man, obviously unlawful relationship, and got pregnant as a result of that unlawful relationship. And in our today's society, people go to jail for a really long time for this type of relationship, especially those types of relationships that provide an offspring as a result of it. So this person decided to stage a suicide. And it kind of gives you the vibes of Ellen Greenberg in part, except without all the stabbing and blood and stuff like that. This is where where she allegedly wrapped something around her neck, tied it to a doorknob, and whatever happened from that point happened from that point. The problem is that she did not do that to herself. And although they had an unknown male profile on the rope and an unknown male profile on her clothing, and I believe even her underwear, they disregarded that to file this as a suicide. I am so sick of lazy law enforcement. I'm so sick of this. This keeps happening. And see, but once upon a time before social media, nobody learned about these things. Why? Because there was no way, unless the local news put it out there, there's no way of us finding it. Now, we the people are the news, right? So we hear something in our community, we reach out to a content creator, we put them on notice. Now we dive in. Now we're actually having people. I've got people, if you're not from the United States of America and you're in my chat, would you guys raise your hand? Because I want to show people, I want to show people something. So I know some of you, we don't have a lot, but we do have a few. So if you are from a different country and you are in our chat, if you're not from the United States, can you throw your hands up in the chat? I know we have a few, or at least should. Good morning, J.E. It's nice to see you. Yeah, KMH. The Birchmore case, they covered it up because it was a cop who she was... Yep. Okay, so you guys see we have several people here from different countries, okay? Thank you guys, by the way. Thank you. So I just want you guys to see that because this is the power of social media. For the first time, thank you. Oh, wow, we do have a lot more than I thought. Oh, wow. Well, welcome, guys. Aw, welcome. Big love to you guys. Big love. Bullhorn Betty's worldwide. What can I say? But anyways, Scotland. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. I love it. But see, this is what social media brings. We're now connected to people across the world. You know what I'm saying? Across the world. We're no longer at the mercy of our news organizations, and they can't stand it. So we can literally spread around all of this information much quicker. And so the corruption is becoming more and more noticeable because we're talking about it. We're seeing the mistakes law enforcement has. There's no place for law enforcement to hide anymore. The corrupted ones. Right? The corrupted ones. And God bless the ones that aren't corrupted, that have to still swim in the sea of corruption and still try to be the best law enforcement person that they can possibly be. So like Pitbull's song, Miss Worldwide. I'm not a Pitbull fan. I didn't even know he had a song called Miss Worldwide. I have to go listen to it now. Interesting. Well, thank you, Pitbull. I didn't know you knew Betty. I'm just joking. Who knows? I never thought a day that I would meet Penn Badgley or Penn Badgley would sit down and talk to me. But, that's true. I mean, I've met a lot of people. I've spoken to a lot of people. Vinnie Politan saying Bullhorn Betty. Dog the Bounty Hunter calling me on the phone, me going to Mar-a-Lago. Come on, the things that's what I try to say. I'm just a normal person. And to be able to do this, it just shows you all you have to do is get up and show up. You know, you get out of this world what you put into this world. If you ain't putting shit in, you ain't getting shit out. Okay? I'm just saying. You know, I'm not an extraordinary person. I'm an average Joe, you know? And even an average Joe can accomplish things that you couldn't imagine. And I can tell you none of this would have ever been possible without social media. I think social media has really leveled the playing fields. Think about all the artists that people, you know, the Hollywood had their foot on these artists' neck. Now they can come out here and generate their music and nobody's standing in their way. I mean, it is just amazing. We've been able to liberate people to be themselves through their use of social media. Now there's a flip side to it. There's a double-edged sword side to it, right? But either way, we've been able to level the playing fields for a lot. Aw, thank you, Laura. Since Gabby Petito, that's when I started. I wasn't even trying to be a content creator. I was just a pissed off woman. You know, I was just a pissed off woman just wanting to fight, you know, for the rights of this beautiful, you know, blonde girl that didn't come home. We knew she was dead. And we knew he did it. We just didn't know how much the family did, but with the family was, they didn't come out of the house for a month. They were prepared with food in their home for over a month. They were prepared. That was the first telltale sign that they knew more than they tried to say, because they got enough food, enough water, enough supplies inside their home to last them an entire month. The mom and dad never came out of the house. They came out of the house like maybe twice in a month. They knew a lot more. We knew that. Anyways, let's get on with this. So this case here, the reason why I'm bringing it up, it has nothing to do with really Nancy Guthrie's case, but it does, because our problem is law enforcement, the corruption in law enforcement taking the path of least resistance to get their job done and their numbers in so they can look like they're doing their blessed job when they're failing people. You're leaving criminals on the street because you guys would rather say somebody committed suicide than doing your freaking job. And here we go again, because this is an Ellen Greenberg 2.0, but it has horrible details in it. You know what? At the end of the day, Ellen Greenberg's fiance was wealthy. His family knew everybody. Corrupted. This right here, an officer doing this to a kid, and then and being protected by the corrupted. How does this stuff exist in our country? Corruption. That's how. Corruption and cover-ups. So I'm not going to go through this too much, but we will go through the first, minute.
In the 19 months since Matthew Farwell's arrest, federal prosecutors say the evidence proving he murdered his secret pregnant girlfriend, Sandra Birchmore, and made it look like a suicide has only gotten stronger. And this week, they may have their strongest evidence yet. There is a new memo from prosecutors that states, quote, Farwell's DNA was found on the ligature that tied Birchmore's neck to a closet door handle. They also say that Farwell's DNA was found on multiple locations on the underwear that Birchmore was wearing when she was found dead in her Canton apartment in 2021. But here's what's so stunning. That DNA was there all along, according to prosecutors.
They never tested it because they had ran to judgment.
State investigators found male DNA at the scene back in 2021, but never tested it against Farwell and ruled Birchmore's death a suicide.
A suicide. So this is why we need, more than anything in this world, to take back our rights as citizens. I don't care. You know, if you, it doesn't matter. Again, we unite on very core facts. We want safe places to live. We want good roads, good streets, good jobs. We want the American dream. All of us want that. Don't tell me that you're here in this country and you want to live in poverty. Because nobody wants to live in poverty. Raise your hand if you feel like living in American poverty. If you woke up today and said, I want to be broke. I want to be an addict. I want to have the worst life ever. If that's you this morning, put a 1 in the chat. We'll pray for you. We'll pray for the ones. We'll pray for the ones. Nobody says that. We all want core things in this country, and the primary core thing is safety. We can have absolutely zero in this country without our safety. Because no matter how hard we work, how hard we try, somebody can take it away from us in an instant. We have to have safety. The cases that we cover on this show is because a lack of safety, or a lack of somebody doing their job, or a combination of a whole bunch of failures, right? But when it comes to the Nancy Guthrie case, there is something that is kind of an elephant in the room for me. And I don't think we are going to resolve it. I really don't. I don't think we're going to resolve it today because we're missing a lot of information to reconcile how we feel about the information. For example, we're about to dive in to Camron Guthrie. Now, again, Camron lives in Vermont. Hard for me to believe that he would have anything to do with his mother. It sounds like he's always been the protector. He's always been proud of his mom. His mom's always been proud of him. He was the first famous Guthrie in that immediate family before Savannah got her roots on the Today Show, right? He was the firefighter pilot. He was the proud son. We need more law enforcement, law officers. I believe that. Absolutely, Rena. And, he's been overseas. He's a fire pilot. He's highly decorated, right? And he's from my understanding, potentially a war vet, if I'm not mistaken. Nat, I think he's been into some wars. But again, very proud. The whole family's very proud of his accolades with the military and the stuff that he's been able to do. It seems like after he retired, he had a very good life for him, his wife, and his children. And so he does have these expertise. And because he was, part of the military and his job did require him to be around these types of things, such as ransoms and ransom demands and other things, we do know that he has probably different expertise and experience than the local law enforcement. We've learned the local law enforcement's very green and doesn't have a whole lot of experience, so that might go into it as well. Without being too awfully critical to law enforcement just at this juncture, I just want to express that. But what led Camron to believe his mother was kidnapped for ransom? That's just odd for me, and I think it's odd for everybody. But just because it's odd doesn't mean he didn't see something legitimately that led him down that path, right? So I don't want to accuse him of because, again, he's cleared, right? We were looking at Tommaso. I don't want to bring another Guthrie into it and say, oh my God, he could have done it. I don't want that to be the case. But the same aspect of it is, listen, Camron either saw something or knew something, the way I'm looking at it. He either saw something. Hey, Cassie, thank you for subscribing. And for all the people that subscribe today to the Bullhorn Betty channel, thank you guys so much. Thank you for trusting me to give you guys this information and have these talking points, right? It's really a talking point. We really don't know a lot. We're not accusing anybody of anything. We're just having something that's not sitting right with us, and we would like to discuss it. And it comes down to Camron, a person we haven't discussed. We've never discussed Camron. Yet Camron was the one that knew before anybody else that his mom was abducted for ransom. Why? That is the question. Why? And where was he when he made that statement? Was he already here in Arizona? Or was he still in Vermont and never saw the crime scene before making that assessment? And if that was the case, how the hell did he jump to ransom in America when it's literally the lowest man on the totem pole? To clean your mother's missing gone. I think, I don't know what that, you might need to update that. I don't know. I'm not understanding. To clean your mother's missing gone. I think you misspelled something. He said because of Savannah. Yeah, and that was pretty harsh too, don't you think? I mean, that was pretty hard. But again, families are families. Like my family. I'm one of those no nonsense people. Like I just cut through the beast. I just spit it out. Okay, so if I really thought that my mom was abducted for ransom and my sister was responsible for it or may have contributed to it, I would tell her. Okay, that's just the way we are in my family. Does it hurt people's feelings? Yes, but I love bluntness. Okay, I'm a blunt person. Okay, I'm a blunt person out there. People take it as being rude. I don't take it as being rude. I take it as being assertive. People don't realize being assertive and being rude are two totally different things, right? But I don't say it with a smile on my face. I'm like, nah, no, I ain't doing that. I'd be like, well, damn, she's a little rude. No, I'm just nope. Nope. I know how to say no. Unicorn, it's nice to see you. The way he sat with his arms crossed, it was another part, that's kind of what made me, because I'm looking at all of this. And, I'm listening to the deception detective, and the deception detective just really feels like this is that personal. Like this is somebody that close, or could be. He doesn't accuse anybody. Of course he doesn't. But he does believe it's possible for somebody that close to be involved in this. And, nobody's really looking at the son because he's in the military. And I'm not looking at I'm not looking at Camron. I just want to be very clear on this. This is just something that hasn't sat right with me, because there might be something he did see that we don't know about. There might be something that was stated from his sister from the scene that he knew. He had seen this before. So I'm not really accusatory, like he had something to do with his mother's disappearance, more than I'm curious what led him to this conclusion, right? And I think this Dr. Raymond Carr, he was interviewed by Forbes. We're going to take a few statements from him. I don't know if I'm in the right spot, but it looks like I think maybe I can go up. I don't want to spend another 20 seconds. Yeah, maybe 9 seconds before we get into it. Let's listen.
Career in the military and intelligence. Apparently, Savannah said that he said that...
we do have to go back.
Ones seek attention.
Okay.
One of the things we learned in the Today Show interview with Savannah Guthrie is that she thought most of those ransom notes were fake, but two of them that she responded to, she thought were real. And then her older brother, he had a career in the military and intelligence. Apparently, Savannah said that he said that he thought their mother could have been kidnapped for ransom. And then Savannah apparently asked, because of me, and he said, yeah, I'm sorry, but yes. So what do you think here?
I thought that again, I personally think that was very harsh. And in my opinion, I believe that was harsh, but in my opinion, it had a little tone of resentment, did it not? The way, even as nice as she explained it, it had a little tone of resentment, potentially. Military intelligence. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? It was said Savannah was trained and warned in her career that they run the chance of stuff happening with them to protect themselves. Yeah. He has a connection to the base. If he was already protective of her, like they say, he was probably already worried stuff that could have happened with her being out there. Then why didn't they... Yeah, military men can be hard. That's what I was saying. I come from, like I said, this stuff is pretty blunt, and I see my family speaking to each other this frankly. We just don't parse words. We're very blunt. I mean, there are a few family members, like my younger sister, that might, want to tap dance on eggshells, but I'm just the kind of the person, even when my mom does it, I'm like, Mom, can you just spit it out? What are you trying to say to me? So I agree. Even if I didn't think it was because of her, I'd never voiced that. It just seems a little harsh, you know? I heard it and thought, yes, resentment, you know? And I'm just, you know, we didn't hear him say it. She's explaining it, and she's explaining it in, you know, the nicest possible way, but it seems like how quickly it rolled off his tongue when she was explaining it. It seems like he's resentful of this. Or, you know, maybe it comes down to what somebody had said, that they thought, you know, he has probably been worried about this for a long time with Savannah's, you know, fame. And maybe they've tried to talk to her and Savannah's blown it off or something like that years ago. And then not now it's knocking on their door, and maybe he's a little upset about it. Like, you know, I mean, I can't imagine how hard this must be on him that his mom's gone. You know, guys don't show emotion quite like women do. Like we can start crying at a drop of a dime. Guys, they're kind of taught not to show emotion. They're kind of taught to be the strong ones, you know, show no fear, show no tears type of, you know, mentality. That's guys, you know, that's what their places, you know, in the grand scheme of things, so to speak, you know. So let's get back here. Let's listen to what they have to say. But again, it's more curiosity. I'm not pointing the finger at Camron as I want to learn what brought him to that conclusion so early on.
Do you think those ransom notes had merit? And B, do you agree with Savannah's brother that the mother could have been kidnapped for ransom?
Well, first of all, I thought if her brother said that, I thought that was cold.
Cruel.
To say that to Savannah.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, not at this, you may think that, and keep that to yourself. But the thing that...
keep that to yourself. I think everybody, you know, and again, you know, we're a blunt family, but I think tact comes to mind. Tact. You know, you don't know what you're dealing with, and you're already beating your own sister over the head that it could be her fault. I mean, why did the church person have Annie's number? Well, again, they've been in this area for 50 years, you know. I can't imagine this being somebody that they didn't know, you know, even the people at the church. She probably met them. They're probably like, you know, adopted aunts. You know, when we were growing up, we had, you know, my mom's best friend that wasn't our real aunt, but we called her Aunt Lynn anyways. She wasn't our biological aunt. But, you know, maybe something like that. But nowadays she doesn't even have my number, but I'm not that close and my mom's not going out. But if my mom was elderly and she was living alone and she had this group of friends, yeah, I think the group of friends would have the kids' numbers. The ladies were Nancy's friends. Yeah, I think that they would have the number. But, you know, I mean, we're speculating here. We don't know. We don't know how they called, how they got a hold of Annie. And in the grand scheme of things, all we do is have is speculation on that aspect. We don't know. Just like we don't know what brought Camron to make this assertion that his mother was kidnapped for ransom and it's Savannah's fault. Again, even this Dr. Raymond Carr, which is some type of forensic investigator that worked for the FBI, he's even saying that, you know, that was cruel. And yeah, maybe we think it, but why the hell would we say it? I'm very surprised that Nancy's church friends haven't come... Yeah, but you know what? That might have to do with the fact that they're probably her age, you know? I'm surprised nobody's come out and talked. I mean, we only have a few neighbors on the record. To be honest with you, we don't even have a lot of neighbors on the record of talking, you know, about this whole case. And we've got one of the neighbors starting to call cops for people, you know, stopping to put something in front of her house. Like, if yet that is you... Good gracious. I'm telling you, please don't get under my skin. When something gets under my skin so bad, then I just go out there just to prove a point. Please don't do that. Neighbors, I'm just, if you're out, please don't do that. Okay? Because you right now, you guys got it good. I'm letting you know, you guys got it good. Even if you think you're feeling like, it's none of your damn business, first and foremost, what somebody else is doing. But if you're one of those neighbors that keep calling, like, Karen, stop. Sorry, Karen. Not all the Karens in my chat. Manage your caller, stop, right? Poor Debbies and poor Karens. Poor Debbies all around the world, you know, with the Debbie Downers, and poor Karens all over the world, the real Karens, right? The ones that are named Karen, that you have to be disrespected every time we say, oh, you're one of those Karens, huh? And they're like, I'm a Karen. I'm a real Karen. What are you talking? We're sorry. We're sorry. We're so sorry. We love you. We love you. We love our Debbies. We love our Debbie Downers. We love them. Do all the Karens go away? No, I love my Karens. I love my Karens. Anyways, don't do that. I mean, you guys got it good out there, okay? You don't even know what chaos is. I mean, we bring the shit show, and I don't like doing it, but when somebody pushes my buttons and I feel like I need to flex my muscle, I flex my muscle, and I double dog dare somebody to get interfere. Okay? So you guys got it good. You got people that are out there respecting you. Respect them back. You be disrespectful to them, then, and you get upset that they're disrespectful. Don't. But you guys got it good. You guys really, really have it good. Be appreciative of what you have. Okay? Because if I was out there, you guys would have a lot to bitch about. I'm just saying. I know my worth, okay? I do not lie, I do not hide, okay? I tell you just like it is, okay? You guys are very fortunate. You only have them to deal with. You're not dealing with Bullhorn Betty. I do not deal with disrespectful neighbors very well. I will tell you, I do not do it very well. Because I have zero patience, right? So I'm kind of a one and done thing. I'm going to chew your ass up and down and you'll never speak to me again. I'm just like that. Let's go back just a little bit.
Well, first of all, I thought if her brother said that, I thought that was cold to say that to Savannah.
Cold, he says, cold.
I mean, not at this, you may think that, and keep that to yourself. But the thing that...
And he uses a word, cold. Pretty interesting, because we did see his body language when they were begging for the mother, and he seemed a little cold there as well.
Kind of stood out to me. I know it's only one data point. There's two parts to your question here. Number one, I don't know what ransom notes she was referring to. There's been several notes that have come into TMZ.
Yep.
And into Savannah's family. So I don't know which ones are what without having seen the notes. But the thing that stood out in that interview was when she said, the first thing she said about her brother was that he called it a kidnapping. And I went, how does he know that? That's my first question. What did he see?
Yep.
What did he hear that led him to that conclusion?
Yep.
I mean, the police in the beginning thought she was a walkaway, and he thinks it's a kidnapping. There's a big difference there. Why does he see one thing and the police are seeing something different? And I think the police, I know there was a huge gap in experience of the Pima County Sheriff's Office working cases like this, and I think that's maybe what led to their theory, but I don't know what led to his theory. He might have to explain that. And the other thing
and he might have to explain it. And I think he needs to explain it, because that in America is the lowest man on the totem pole. So what led him to that?
Fairness. Cases like this, and I think that's maybe what led to their theory, but I don't know what led to his theory. He might have to explain that. And the other thing, in all fairness, that may be Savannah's words. It may not be her brother's words.
Yep.
Her brother may be say, hey, look, somebody took her, which is an easy way of saying it's a kidnapping. But, I'm cautious about that. But I just wondered, what did he see? What led him to that conclusion?
I know.
So that's really where we're at in this case. Like, what? How did he know? How did he know? And again, not accusatory here. I am truly, truly curious about it. What did he see that now granted, we have to acknowledge that law enforcement is not is green. You know, they're what they they're plagued with a lot of things. The officers there, I believe, are good people. You know, the ones that are street cops, the investigators, I truly believe that they want to get this case solved. However, when you don't have a team that is a well-oiled machine, very experienced, you have a lot of people that don't have double-digit years, then the people that are training them with not those double-digit years, those minimal years, then they're training the next people on their mistakes, right? And those people are going to be training the next people on their mistakes. And it's like this horrible wheel that needs to be broken, and it's because of the leadership, the corrupted leadership, the people being installed in positions based on their friendship to the sheriff versus their ability to get the job done and their experience. And so we have a lot of green individuals that are not being guided by seasoned agents. And we found out even supervisors of the homicide, of all things, a supervisor of the homicide division having zero homicide experience. I don't know what bonehead in the department thinks that that's okay. It's not. It's not. And it shows cronyism. It shows the cronyism in that department. And at the end of the day, we have somebody that's not well trained, but again, to make the leap from kidnapping to ransom note with no ransom note, that's what I'm having a problem with. We're hearing the ransom notes came out after the first 48. That's a problem for me, because we have, and we talk about it regularly on this show, we have these folks that we can clearly see thoroughly investigated their target. It appears that they were out there on the scene on January 11th and potentially January 24th, the weekends leading up to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. They look like and appear to have thoroughly investigated and thoroughly strategized how to remove this lady from her home undetected. And you're trying to convince me from that point forward, everything else wasn't planned to a T? Because why did it take so long to get the first ransom note? Those ransom notes should have been immediately sent. It wasn't. I remember it. We were like, so she was abducted and there's no ransom note? And everybody's like, no ransom note. And then, boom, the next day we got a ransom note. Well, hot dog, look at that. You know, that doesn't make sense to me. There's a lot of things related to this case that doesn't make sense to me, but another one that's majorly sitting uneasy with me is, what did Camron know and when? And how? What did he learn that led him to this abduction theory so early on in this case? No body, nothing taken but Nancy. I seriously thought it was a kidnapping because it was a hit. They usually don't take the body. Kidnapping for money was my first thought. Okay. It wasn't mine. My first thought was this was a hit. This was a hit. So it seems like everything the assailant touched with his hands, his gloved hands, to me seems like he took with him. He left the house with it. He took the camera. He took Nancy. Those are apparently the only two things that are missing from that house. Nothing else is missing. Yet he spent 41 minutes there. That's the problem I have. That's keeping me away from this. Like, I never, based on just those limited information, I would have never came to the conclusion that this was an abduction for ransom. I would have thought that this was this sounds, believe it or not, this is one thing that we did bring up early on. I said, you know what this sounds like? This sounds like a domestic violence situation. Think about it. How many times have we, I mean, with all the cases, Caitlin Harp, one of our cases that I went personally to and investigated out in Pennsylvania. Caitlin Harp. where was I going with that? I forgot where I was going with that. I'm sorry, guys. But Caitlin Harp was out in Pennsylvania. I'll think about it here in just a second. Let me read this. I still can't remember where I was going with the Caitlin Hart thing. I will have to go back and review my notes and figure out where I was going with that. But it was 41 minutes being at that house. That's what distracted me from this. It's not one of the first things that I would have thought of. It just isn't. It would have been anything but that. A hit. I think a hit would be more appropriate. This would be resentment. Oh, yeah. I remember what I was talking about with Caitlin Harp. It was the domestic violence scenario. So many of our cases that we cover, even Crystal Rogers case, another one, where they leave all of their belongings, their keys, their wallet, their car. They just get up in the middle of the night and walk off from their home, right? Run off with another dude into the night and never seen again. That's what it sounded like to me. Hi, humans. Popcorn juror. I'm late. Yikes. That's okay. In my opinion, they cleaned the house. How did they know? In the dark, the brooms were in the garage. That's another thing, Faye, is that garage. Like that garage, them going through that garage. And people calling in here and feeling like, there was, how many people came in, called into our show and said they felt like this whole back, was an escape route in case something went wrong. But there was multiple people that called into the show and said, we think this is staged. We think the whole back door being propped open with the flower pots, the gate being propped open with the flower pots is all staged. Why would they need to do it? They never intended to take her out the back. They needed to take her out the front. Yeah, it still upsets me to this day. It does. But the story was kind of similar to Miss Guthrie's story, right? He wakes up in the morning and his girlfriend's gone. All of her stuff's there. She just got up in the middle of the night and left. Somebody must have came and picked her up and took her away. Right? So this is that would have been more, when I was looking at this case, we brought that up and we're like, man, this seems more in line with domestic violence than anything. I think we might even had a show that said DV on it, DV for domestic violence. I'll have to go back and look. I know we've talked about it a few times, about how this looks more like a domestic violence. I know I've said that this looks more like a domestic violence case than an abduction case or a ransom case. Because it's the middle of the night, they walked off and left everything. Yes, if she's in witness, she's got to have. You can't just get in witness protection. People don't understand. I understand how incredibly difficult. I have an understanding. Let me say that. I have an understanding how incredibly difficult it is to get into witness protection. And she would literally have to be a witness of like something really bad today, not something that happened really bad 20 or 30 years ago. Okay. She would have to be like a witness to a cartel hit or, the poor flower pots alone. The deflowering of the flower pots. Oh, good gracious, my button sticks. There we go. I have said from day one it was a vendetta, revenge, stalker, but definitely Savannah Guthrie is why. Second thought, pissed off soldier. That Camron Guthrie disciplined or not promoted over this soldier based so close by. It's possible, but would somebody hold that resentment that long? Like Camron, from my understanding, was still in. But you know what? Somebody brought up something, and they brought up the possibility of Camron being in Arizona before his mother disappeared. Now, I've dismissed it because there was nothing factual I could find that supported that. But, it still comes back to the fact that this just seems incredibly strange. I think it's just a worry box for me. I feel like there's a reasonable explanation to why Camron believed, of all things, that this was an abduction for ransom. He specifically thought this was for ransom. Way, way, way early on. And so I just want to understand what led him to believe that. That's the first thing. I don't want to be accusatory. I want to find out what led him there. And then we can base our next part, but we're never going to learn that. You know, in my opinion, we're never going to learn that. And then right here, I don't really watch this guy too much. This is Joseph Morris. He's got a lot of followers. A lot more than I do, that's for sure. But he's been a conspiracy theorist in some of the cases and had some wild stuff. That's why I stay away from him too much, is because there's been a lot of stuff that I've listened that I just totally disagree with. I'm sorry, I just do. But he seems like a nice guy. And there are some things that I do agree with him on. So I thought this was pretty interesting. Couldn't they turn on the data on our phone, then search around to see if the pacemaker reconnects? Just the, well, they had that super sniffer program or device that they put, but the problem is they're putting it on the freaking helicopter, which I think is stupid. They need to have it on a drone, because drones can get a lot closer to the ground than a stupid helicopter. It's just like every decision they make here is just, I don't understand it. I really just don't understand it. But we have a signal sniffer. That's it, a signal sniffer. And that signal sniffer does, it kind of acts like that, Nanny. You know, where it's supposed to come in, and they can actually program it just for that specific device. And we heard that they were flying the helicopter. I just don't think a helicopter can get low enough to the ground. I'm sorry, I just don't. I think it needs to be on a drone. It's on a drone. Well, the last time I saw it, it was on the skid of the helicopter. I saw it strapped to it. So it was on the skid of a helicopter. It wasn't on a drone. I remember seeing it, and I remember thinking to myself, why the hell did they have it on that helicopter? But they strapped it to the foot, you know, the thing that sits on the ground of the helicopter. I think they call it a skid. I'm not up to terminology, so excuse me.
Can get millions. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I really think these ransom notes are fake. What do you guys think? So as those notes were coming in, something else was happening at Nancy's home. This video is from Mark the Shark on YouTube, and I'll link him in the description below. But Tommaso Cioni was spotted at Nancy Guthrie's home. So footage from today's live streams.
I don't know what part of the day that is, but I'm sorry. I'm hearing Arizona is hot as shit out there, and I keep seeing like Tommaso and like Luke Daly just cover themselves in these thick clothing out there in the heat. Hey, Betty, it's nice to see you. Happy Cappy, it's nice to see you. Tracy, it's nice to see you. Mothra, it's nice to see you. Good morning, ladies. It's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Waves Assault, allegedly somebody said that the eyes of the masked man matched a certain YouTuber. Why would a YouTuber be involved? Somebody brought up a YouTuber yesterday, and I can't remember who it was, and I asked them, who's accused of this? What YouTuber? Can you, Waves of Salt, can you tell me which YouTuber was named to have been involved? If that is allegedly the case, why would he do this? Trying to figure that out. I mean, I'm curious of who would say this, but listen, there's a lot of people on these platforms that are straight up felons. So I'm sorry, I would never put it past. The stuff I went through on this platform from some of these people, the people that I dealt with here that I have nothing to do with, are freaking felons. They're criminals. Okay, they think they're freaking gangsters, and they think they can intimidate people. So, I mean, I don't, you know, if you tell me that somebody on YouTube might break the law, I would believe it. I would believe it. But I'm still trying to figure out which of the, who was accused. Does anybody know? Has anybody heard that a YouTuber was accused of this? Because that's his history. He does things like that. I have jacket. Well, who's being accused of this? Everybody's talking about this person, but nobody's telling me I am a felon, but I still love you, buddy. Yeah, but you know what? Listen, I've been arrested. I'm not a felon, but I've been arrested. I got no problems with felons. I'm just talking about active felon. Now, if you're an active felon, if you're still breaking the law, well, why are you in true crime? But if you are a recovered felon, well, we welcome those. I will work next to a recovering addict and felon because they work 10 times harder than anybody else, right? Because you have to. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm talking about people actively committing crimes through social media. Mr. Noisy, I don't see you actively committing crimes. Just saying. But I don't know. Who knows? Not active. Okay. Well, that's all that matters. Okay. Yes, that's fact. Nobody's told me the name. Somebody know how many people have heard this other YouTuber being accused of this? And if you guys have heard the other YouTuber being accused of this, tell me the name. Who is it? Let's think about it. How many times in history has something like this happened to famous person's family? The last time this happened for my thing was like in the 1960s with Sinatra's family. I don't see this happening. Are they saying it's jail? There's no way it's jail. Yeah, no. If they're saying that, there's no way. There's no way. Then people are just trying to cause problems. If that's the case, yeah, I don't believe that. I thought maybe somebody out there. I'm pretty sure that they've got. It's easy for you to come up with Betty. No. Can no one see my comments? TT, we see you. Did you not hear her say he was an intelligence because the kidnapping for ransom is intelligence? Well, just because you've been in intelligence doesn't mean that's your... I mean, yeah, you'd apply that overseas, but we're in the United States. We don't have ransoms. Okay? Whether you're an intelligence officer or not, it's hard to jump to that conclusion here in the United States of America, in my opinion. Again, this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to be, argumentative or anything like that, but it's the fish out of water, so to speak, folks. It's the fish out of water. I'm not writing his name for fear of being sued. Then maybe, if you guys are saying there's no possibility. I mean, to be honest with you, you could probably go and look up that date and probably see him sitting in Florida in his home. I don't know. I would never believe it. I thought maybe somebody out there that's a content creator in the local community. Because, you have some of those, like we have people here that do criminal activity for clicks and views. Like they'll go in and destroy like a presentation of fruit in a grocery store. For last successful ransom is DB Cooper. Okay, let's look at that. The last successful ransom in the USA is DB Cooper. Let's see what that is. DB Cooper. Let's see what this is about. All right, let's put this up here. Might as well learn something. That's the first time I heard about it. So what is this? DB Cooper is the alias of an unidentified man who hijacked Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, November 24th, 1971. This was before I was born. Extorted $200,000 in ransom, approximately $1.6 million in today's amount, and parachuted from the Boeing 727 over Washington state. Despite extensive FBI investigation and a 2016 case closure, his identity and fate remain unknown. So there you go. There you go. So again, 1971. 1971. So again, and he survived. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. He survived, and he got off with $200,000, which again, this day and age would be $1.6 million. And I got to tell you, $1.6 million does not last very long. It sounds like it would, but it does not. It does not. So with this being said, it still comes back to what led Camron to that conclusion so early on in the case, because it's just such an unlikely conclusion to have. Even with the stuff before you, it would have been an unlikely conclusion to have. I would have thought that she was a victim of robbery, burglary, something else. The last thing I would have ever thought in anything, seeing anything, even that whole entire case. We've been doing this for a while. We've looked at a lot of crime scenes. If I looked at that crime scene, which I did, when Brian Enton went up to that front door, that was our first look at that crime scene. When Brian Enton publicized walking up that walkway and seeing that blood on the front of Nancy Guthrie's home, that was our first insight to what everybody saw. And that alone would have never risen to my conclusion or concluding that this was a ransom. I'm sorry. It would have been the furthest thing from my mind. Because I know that, because I did review this, because my opinion of this case was much different than that. On its face, before we even knew what Camron had said. Ransom would have been the furthest thing from my personal mind. So why was it in the forefront of his? Either he saw something or he knows something. That's kind of my conclusion over all this. And I don't like that. Because again, we haven't talked about Camron. We haven't had much to say about him. We've had a lot to say about Tommaso here, and we're going over some more information about Tommaso right now. We do feel like this is personal. And again, I want to understand. I don't want to accuse. I want to understand. And I don't understand what led Camron or anybody in the family to look in that angle. And do I really believe the FBI feel that this is I feel that the FBI doesn't know, and that they're trained enough to follow the evidence, not their thoughts. And so I believe that they know, until they're proven wrong, they're going to take any lead as true until they find out, until they get to the end of it. And I don't think they're to the end of this ransom yet. And so until they get to the conclusion of this ransom, I don't think they're going to be able to say whether they believe it's accurate, true, or correct. That's just my opinion.
So as those notes were coming in, something else was happening at Nancy's home. This video is from Mark the Shark on YouTube, and I'll link him in the description below. But Tommaso Cioni was spotted at Nancy Guthrie's home. So footage from today's live streams shows him walking around the property, going in and out of the garage, what appears to be law enforcement present. And I just want to point out, he seems very comfortable on Nancy's home, and he seems to be very familiar with the layout. And whoever kidnapped Nancy was very familiar with the layout. I mean, he seems to know his way around the property. And it's what people notice about...
Of course. I think everybody that lives near Nancy, that's family with Nancy, would be very fluent and familiar with this home. She's lived in this home for 5 decades. He's been married to her daughter, her oldest daughter, for over 20 years. So the chances of him being in that home, he's been in that home for 20 flipping years. Of course he's comfortable with that home. These are the things that I find a little bit comical when people say. But again, don't want to be disrespectful to Joseph Morris. I just wanted to point out that, I feel like his walk might be nothing, but it does seem like he's upset or, eager to get out of there, to say the least. Maybe it's because of the people on the other side of the road watching him. He knows he knows that people think that he's responsible for his mother-in-law, and I think that's got to be very uncomfortable. I mean, think about how you would feel walking out of a home with cameras in your face and somebody thinks that you murdered your family member. I'm sure it's not a very comfortable feeling for you as an individual. Just a perspective that I think people need to have.
about how he was moving that's getting attention. So Tommaso's
Okay, let's go back just a little bit.
kidnapped Nancy was very familiar with the layout. I mean, he seems to know his way around the property. And it's what people notice about how he was moving that's getting attention. So Tommaso's walking in a very exaggerated way, almost different from how he was walking before. So during the memorial and flower drop, he did not walk like this. But now in today's footage, his walk appears to be more exaggerated. And some believe that this could be intentional to throw off the sleuths, because true crime creator Monk's Intrigue recently released a detailed video that has 84,000 views analyzing the Portuguese gate from the doorbell camera footage.
I noticed something about the crotch holster guy's walk. He appeared.
This is why I don't like some of this stuff. Like, I don't know this guy. He's got a lot of followers, but to be honest with you, I'm probably going to disagree with almost everything this guy says. I can already feel it.
Appears to have a slight hitch to his step, which I always attributed to cautious night walking. Then I noticed his feet does this funny thing where it juts outwardly once his left leg is extended right here. Now watch his right leg right here. This photo of the perp standing upright in his natural position, I guess.
That's not
I could
his
say.
natural
Now
position.
you could see his feet face outwardly still. So when his legs are straight, his
Ooh.
feet point out.
Okay, well, let me go back to this. This right here. I bet you he's had a broke ankle. Because the reason why I think he had a broke ankle is because you have a walk, and when you break your ankle or your lower leg, they set it. And when they set it, they put it in its natural position, which is not the position that you have learned to walk on your foot all these years. And so you have to, even though you don't know you have to learn to walk, but somebody's saying he's good. It's duck feet. It's not even duck feet, because this one's straight. This one's cocked out. I bet you he's had a broken ankle. Just a thought.
So when his legs are straight, his feet point out.
Not all of them,
looked this
just
up,
one.
and the
Just
medical
one.
term is called out-toeing. So boring. So
It's not. It's only 1 foot. It's not both feet. It's only one.
we're going to call it what it is. The man has duck feet. I want you guys to notice this as well. The slight
Duck feet. How can you take a guy seriously that talks like that? I'm sorry.
bowing of his legs. Now, some people have straight legs. Some people have knock knees. Our
I
perp
disagree
appears
with
to
all
have
of this. This looks like a straight leg. This does not. This looks like, people have been talking about an injury on the right side. We have Luke Daly that has a lot of injuries on the right side. Some people call it pigeon-toed. Well, pigeon-toed, bow-legged. I don't know if he's bow-legged. I think he's got an injury. I think he has right side injuries on him. I think that explains all of this, personally speaking. I think we're looking at somebody potentially like Luke Daly. He's got a lot of right side injuries on him.
if only slightly, bow legs. You know who else has a very similar posture? Tommaso Cioni. He also has
Look
duck
how much farther.
feet.
Look
And
at
so
his
I went
feet. No. You guys got to look at those feet. Those feet are not the same. Let me see if I can stop it.
So Cioni.
There it is. He has duck feet. Look at that. Both of his feet stick out. We didn't have that in the other one. He's got 1 foot that's straight, 1 foot that's cockeyed. Ankles, it's a birth defect. I don't think so. My feet look like that. You know why my feet look like that? Because I had a broke ankle. That's why I have the experience. That's why I brought up the broke ankle. Because I walked the same way for years and years and years, and then I broke my ankle. I fractured my ankle. I didn't break it into two. It just had the hairline fracture. And when they set my foot, they crocked my foot out, and I said, my foot feels like it's popped out. And like, this is the natural position of your feet. And I'm like, Okay, so when they took all that off and I walked, guess what? Now I have one foot that duckies because they said it. But my other foot stays the way I've always walked on it. But this foot here, now duckies. So that's why I say I believe that person may have had a broken ankle. No, it wasn't Bullhorn Betty on the front of that. I do not have a beard. I do not have a mustache, and I do have enough hair, but I don't think I meet the height level. Okay, I'm under 5'1". Okay, not 5'9" or 5'10". I just want to say, so if anybody wants to try to accuse me with my duck feet, you guys are off base. I'm too short to be the guy, and I was here in Florida as well. His right side, his whole right side, looks like a birth defect. Maybe there's something else going on. Intelligence officers are taught to map out the digital footprint of the neighborhood before moving through it. My BFs are brutal. He was born like that. My ankle's still swollen, had surgery, and have a few screws now floating in my ankle. Oh, okay. Oh, the screws are floating in the ankle? Ouch. The resemblance to me, though, especially him walking from the garage, if you put a thumb over his face, is eerie. I think Tommaso is just creepy anyway. Maybe that's it. You know, he's from a different country. He's been here for 20 years. The entire 20 years he's been here, he's been with Annie Guthrie. You know, they have a child. They have a family. I don't know. I don't know. I am concerned about, you know, some of the statements I heard Savannah say when she was explaining what happened from her sister. You know, they were saying about the sister not calling her right. I would never, my sisters don't live here. Something happened to my mom and I went over there and something wasn't right. The first thing I'm calling is law enforcement. And then after I call or knock on some neighbors' doors or call my mom's friends, then I'll be reaching out to the distant, you know, the people that live further away, like my sisters, to say, hey, have you heard from mom? Or, you know, mom's missing or whatever the case may be. You know, that would probably be the only thing. But I know if I walked into my mom's house and my mom's house is wide open, I know something is wrong. My mom does not leave her house wide open. My mom locks everything up at night. She does not leave doors unlocked. She's got locks and then locks on top of locks on top of locks. Like, she is very, very secure. So I know if I go to my mom's house first thing in the morning and I see her whole entire house open and she's not there, I would immediately know there is something majorly wrong here, because my mom just does not do that. So this is a little different for them because apparently, you know, her mom did do that. Her mom left the house open all the time. And, you know, did that invite this person in, or is this somebody closer? We all believe that this is somebody closer. I believe this is somebody closer. I don't believe this is some random person that just targeted her for some unknown reason. I don't believe that. We may talk about it, and I may live in that and dwell in that area of the conversation, but I truly do not believe it. I do not believe it. I believe that somebody did this to her that knew this lady. Now, what is the reason? I don't know. But I do believe whoever was there had been there before. And I don't mean just to scope out the place. It looked like the person that was outside of that home knew exactly where to step. That concerns me. Tommaso is a lot shorter than the porch guy. That's what I believe. When I seen this porch guy, Tommaso being the actual person on the outside of that door, left my mind. I did not think that it was him at all. But again, in all fairness, I never considered any of the family at the beginning. Even at the beginning. Even with us, with all the unknowns, I never thought it was Tommaso, Annie, Camron, or Savannah. I didn't think any of them had anything to do with it. I was very vocal on that. And I know you guys, a lot of you that come here didn't know that because you guys probably came here after the fact and we were still talking about Tommaso and talking about other things. I'll still talk about the conversations, but I'm very, very clear on what I believe and what I don't believe. And Tommaso is older than the porch guy too. I believe that as well, Big Mac. I believe that. I believe that. I believe that the porch guy is younger. But again, I do believe that this person was here. I do not believe it's Camron either, okay? But my theory is I believe these people were hired, okay? I believe whoever went in here were hired to take Miss Nancy Guthrie out. So who would have done that? I'm not a believer. Now, I'm perfectly fine being wrong. I've been wrong before. I don't lie about being wrong. I don't try to hide about being wrong or anything like that, because it's all about growth and stuff like that. So I may end up being wrong on this. I may be totally wrong, but I believe this was a hit. I believe somebody went into that house and executed Miss Nancy Guthrie. And I think everything since then has been to cover that up, even down to the ransom notes. So I don't know who would have done that, but it was somebody that knows this family. I do believe that there is an inside person directly connected to Miss Guthrie. Whether it's a cleaner, whether it's a service provider, whether it's a distant family member, there are a lot that I don't know who. But I do not believe in this abduction theory, and I can't express that loud enough. I just don't believe it. There's nothing here that expresses this was an abduction. I mean, granted, we have ransom notes, but those ransom notes came entirely too late. We have people that were hanging around this house for over 40 minutes. That does not happen in ransoms. And they spent more time extracting her than thinking how they were going to collect the money. They spent more time trying to figure out how to get her out of the house than to collect their money. That doesn't make sense to me. And because it doesn't make sense to me, it's hard for me to believe it's ransom. So the candlestick maker. Good gracious. Good gracious. I don't know who it is. I really don't. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's a neighbor or a neighbor's child. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the local gardener. I wouldn't be surprised. We're also hearing that the landscape crews are used by a lot of the families around there. And did anybody on the landscape crew was a new hire that left shortly after Miss Guthrie disappeared? You know, those are the things that I'm looking for. Somebody does know something. There was some weird, obnoxious activity either before or after Miss Guthrie disappeared that somebody observed. And they're thinking, oh, no, it couldn't be him. It doesn't matter whether you think it could or not. Just call it in. Pick up the phone and say, look, I had this coworker. It might be nothing, but I feel like I need to turn this in because they were here. They worked with us. They worked in this community. And within 2 days of Miss Guthrie being missing, they quit their job and moved out of state. We thought that was awfully bizarre. You know, those type of things. We're asking that, you know, the owners of businesses, if you have weird employees that disappeared shortly after Miss Guthrie disappeared, please call that in to the local law enforcement. And actually, we're getting reports right now from everybody saying, don't call Pima County Sheriff. Call Crime Stoppers. They're wanting these things to start going through Crime Stoppers, not Pima County Sheriff. I think that they're concerned that Pima County Sheriff is still withholding evidence from the investigators. And so I've heard from multiple people them saying, please call into the Crime Stoppers lines with your tips. So I don't know. I'm not going to tell people what to do or how to do it. If you have information, all I'm going to ask you to do is turn it in. Call 1-800-CALL-FBI or call FBI. That's a great number. I would prefer, me personally, everything going through the FBI. Not going through Crime Stoppers, not going through Pima County, through the FBI. The FBI, in my opinion, is the elite law enforcement body in this case. And if it was me, I'm going to be having you guys call the elite body in the investigation, right? I love my sheriff here in Manatee County, but if my case rises to the fact that we have FBI, I want you guys to call the FBI. No offense, Rick, but I want you guys to call the FBI. So the FBI is involved in this case. They are the elite law enforcement body. And I don't care whether that hurts Pima County's feelings or not. It is the truth. I hope that everybody in Pima County aspires to do their job as good as the FBI. And I hope that many of the people in the Pima County Sheriff's Department, keep working on themselves to maybe become an FBI agent, to be a part of that elite team. I'd love to see people. I'm one of those people that love bringing people up, right? I never I can't stand people that put their foot on somebody else's neck. That's one thing I learned. I had a boss, and he was a very, very wealthy man. And he developed a law firm to fight his foreclosures. He had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. It was going to cost him millions of dollars. So he found a very smart guy, found a way to pay for his own legal expenses while finding a business that he could actually make a profit from, because everybody was dealing with the same thing he did. So he developed a law firm that did this. He wasn't an attorney, so he hired an attorney. He paid the attorney. And so we had all these cases for other people while he was getting his cases deliberated for free, right? So he was a very smart guy. But one thing he loved, was finding talent. And he never, ever, he always thought his ability to make the type of money he did was based upon the team that he had. And so he always brought his team up with him. He always wanted to get people up. He found talent, and he wanted them on board with him. And he knew how to treat them. He knew how to promote them. He knew how important it was for the people under him, because without the people under him, he wouldn't be the person he is. And he understood that, and he always taught us never to be on somebody's neck. Always bring them up with you. If you see talent, you bring it up. You step aside. You let it flourish. You never put talent in the shadows. And that has always stuck with me through all of these years, about what is a good person and what is a bad person, what is a good leader and what is a bad leader. A bad leader is one that wants you under them. A good leader, if they see you thriving, they step aside and support you. That is the difference. That is truly, truly the difference. And you know what? My boss was very successful, very, very successful, because he knew the importance of the people around him. And so if you guys always remember that, always remember that the people around you are as important as you are. And when people hear that, and you keep your foot off somebody's neck and you step aside when they're rising up, you will find yourself being more successful than you've ever been. When you try to be that top person by putting your foot on somebody else's neck, you're not thriving. You're not thriving, and neither is your team. So anyways, guys, we do not have enough time. I got 6 minutes that I could open up the phone lines. That's not near enough. So what we will do is later this afternoon, we will open the phone lines if you guys would like to come back. We have a lot to talk about. People feel some type of way about this family. They feel some type of way about Tommaso, about Annie, about Camron, about Savannah. Let's chat about it. Let's chat about it as respectfully as we can. We have to remember we are a Christian channel here. Not everybody that comes here is Christian, but we do run a Christian channel. So we want to make sure that we're not beating up people too bad. We do allow you guys to have your opinions and stuff. Just please be cognizant that, there are, if something would hurt your feelings, understand what you're doing to other people. So as long as everybody can speak their mind through that lens, I think we'll have a great show this afternoon. So hopefully you all come back here and see this. I'm Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for coming here. We've been covering the case of Miss Nancy Guthrie. If you have made it this far and you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button. Do me a solid, hit that thumbs up button and share this. If you're on the replay crew and you get the opportunity to hype this show, please consider hyping me. And do it a step further, letting people know you hyped me. It gives you a little post already pre-programmed. All you have to do is put post. And now you hyped me and advertise that you hyped me to all the people that love you as well. So if you guys could help this show out, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to do more, which is never ever required, but super appreciated, we definitely welcome more super chats, super stickers, and of course, if you're on the replay crew, There's always that super thanks. So God bless you. I pray to God that we do find answers. I pray to God we learn truly what happened to Miss Nancy Guthrie. And I believe that her son, Camron, heard or saw something that made him feel that this was a ransom. I'm not dismissing the ransom in its totality. We don't know what we're dealing with here. And if this is somebody from a different country or somebody that moved over here through whatever process, that might explain it, because even though we don't deal with a lot of ransoms, there's other parts of this world that do. And so we have to remember that. And so I'm not completely out of the game and dismiss this whole ransom. It's just so low on the totem pole. It makes it difficult. And of course, remember, if you do have any information, 1-800-CALL-FBI, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Guys, be a hero, not a zero. If you have information, please stand up and speak up. God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you later this afternoon.